mostly Mopar family. Today we're headed out on a little road trip, our first one together. I just left Newton, Kansas a little while ago, and we're headed to Carthage, Missouri. We're on our way to look at a few Mopars. It's only 180 miles, about 3 hours one way. The property that we're headed to in Carthage was owned by an older gentleman who passed away some time ago, and his grandson is cleaning up the property and selling the projects that are there. His grandson is in his mid-30s. He's a Mopar guy and owns a 1972 Cuda. The grandson is cleaning up a lot of cars, a lot of parts that were taken apart and really just stashed everywhere. So he's having a hard time figuring out what goes to what. Even though he is a Mopar guy, he's mostly been into e-bodies, so it's kind of a puzzle for him. I am by no means the first guy to the scene. Apparently several other guys have already showed up and purchased a few cars. I'm not sure what's left. Maybe they left the dregs. Maybe there's still something really good. The pictures that I got were helpful, but definitely not conclusive enough for me to make a decision. There's about 3 or 4 68 to 70 Mopar B bodies and a couple 72 to 74 Challengers. I'm not really looking at the Challengers today. The B bodies are what I'm mostly interested in. I'm not sure if we're going to come back with something. I'm hopeful though. A couple of the cars look pretty solid, although they're fairly incomplete. Well, I greatly underestimated the amount of time needed to load everything up. Once I got there, it took a long time to chase down all the parts. The property was about 8 acres and had 4 outbuildings, and they were spread out a ways. By the time I made the tour and rounded up all the parts, then I looked at my truck and my cab of the car that I bought, and I realized I don't have the space to put everything in there. So I had to start some assembly, hang the doors, hang the fenders, had to reassemble the right front brakes because they were disassembled several years ago and just left. Once I was able to hang the body panels on and the deck lid, I was able to cram the rest of the stuff in the bed of my truck. I bought a bunch of extra stuff. I bought an engine I don't need and a few other parts, but they were there. I had the space, and I'm a bit of a hoarder. The original color was Y3. Obviously it had air conditioning, manual brakes, power steering. I do have the fender tag for it. Obviously this was an undercoating car, and the left front frame rail is in great shape, and so is the inner fender. The driver's side rocker, also really, really good. A little bit of rust in that lower quarter panel. You can see some filler on the top of that quarter panel, and obviously above the wheel well. Looks like someone pulled out a dent, sort of, once upon a time. And the lower quarter panel obviously needs some patching. The frame rails, though, are exceptionally solid, really clean. Nothing wrong with those at all. Same thing with this passenger side rear frame rail. Really, really clean, really solid. Nothing to be scared of there at all. That's really some of the better frame rails I've seen. Passenger side quarter panel, similar condition. Some filler, obviously needs some patches, at least the lower skin. Lower quarter panel in the dog leg there. And that rocker at the seam looks like it needs some attention. But other than that, you know, no holes, no real weak spots. Passenger side inner fender and frame rail, also really good shape. I'm happy with that. Fenders and doors, also really pretty straight and solid. Good workable core to begin with. This is the passenger side torsion bar cross member, and it's really, really nice. You have to really watch these. Right here, between the front frame rail and that rocker, that hole collects a lot of junk as you're going down the road, but this one is remarkably solid. A little bit of a dent there, but nothing to be worried about. Same thing on the driver's side torsion bar cross member. Everything I'm seeing looks really good. That area between the rocker and the frame rail, super solid. It even looks like the previous owner may have scraped most of the undercoating off and primed the belly, which just helps to really see what shape everything's in. The floor in this 69 Roadrunner is really pretty solid. It does have pinholes, obviously. I'd be shocked if it didn't. But for a 50-something-year-old floor, I'd say it's pretty good. I got really good seat cores with this car and lots of parts. That's not even the half of it. Trunk is just full.